Good evening, everybody. My name is Evan Davis, and today we'll be exploring narrative criticism, a powerful framework for understanding how stories shape our world. We'll examine how narratives function not just as entertainment, but as persuasive devices that carry and transmit cultural values. Let's break down narrative criticism into four key components. First, narratives aren't just for entertainment. They are powerful rhetorical devices that shape how we understand the world. Consider news stories that influence public opinion or corporate narratives that define company culture. Second, narrative criticism provides specific analytical tools. We examine structure, characters, themes, and narrative logic, how story elements work together to construct reality. Third, narratives transmit culture. Like vessels, they carry cultural knowledge across generations, shaping our identities and decisions. Finally, context is absolutely crucial. The same story can carry entirely different meanings depending on its historical, cultural, and medium-specific context. Fisher's concept of homo neurons captures why narrative criticism matters. As humans, we are fundamentally storytelling beings. We make sense of our experiences through narrative. This 1984 quote remains powerfully relevant in today's world. The process of narrative criticism involves three main steps. We begin by identifying the narrative text. This spans from political speeches to advertisements to social movement messaging. Next comes examining narrative coherence, analyzing how effectively the elements work together to create meaning. Finally, we evaluate narrative fidelity, determining how well the story aligns with audience experiences, values, and its persuasive power. Narrative criticism has wide-reaching applications. In political discourse, it reveals how leaders use stories to persuade. In social movements, it shows how narratives mobilize action. Organizations use stories to shape culture, while crisis communicators employ narratives to manage public perception. Each domain demonstrates the power of strategic storytelling. The significance of narrative criticism extends throughout society in profound ways. It illuminates power relations by showing how stories normalize certain structures while marginalizing others. Think of how corporate narratives can reinforce workplace hierarchies, or how media stories can shape public perception of different social groups. It reveals ethical implications embedded in narratives, helping us understand the moral framework that stories promote or challenge. By examining these embedded values, we can better understand how narratives influence ethical decision-making and social norms. It advances social justice by identifying privileged versus marginalized voices. Through narrative criticism, we can uncover whose stories dominate public discourse and whose are systematically excluded. This awareness is crucial for creating more inclusive and equitable communication practices. And most importantly, it bridges cultural divides by demonstrating how different groups use narratives to maintain identity and negotiate relationships with others. In our increasingly interconnected world, this understanding becomes essential for fostering cross-cultural dialogue and mutual understanding. Our digital age transforms narrative criticism in fascinating ways. Nonlinear storytelling flourishes across platforms, breaking traditional narrative structures. We see this in social media threads, interactive documentaries, and collaborative storytelling platforms where multiple authors contribute simultaneously. Audience interaction reshapes traditional narrative authority. Today's audiences don't just consume stories, they actively shape them through comments, shares, remixes, and adaptations. This dynamic relationship challenges our traditional understanding of storyteller and listener. Cultural diversity enriches global narratives in unprecedented ways. Digital platforms allow stories to cross geographical and linguistic boundaries instantly. However, This creates new challenges in understanding how narratives resonate across different cultural contexts. A meme that goes viral in one culture might be meaningless or even offensive in another. Consider how emerging technologies like virtual reality and artificial intelligence are adding new layers to digital storytelling. These tools create immersive narrative experiences where audiences don't just hear or read stories, they live them. Narrative criticism's practical value spans in multiple fields, from public relations to education, from political campaigns to social media strategy. Understanding how stories function as rhetorical devices enhances communication effectiveness. These insights apply across professional contexts. Let's synthesize our key insights. Stories actively shape reality, not merely reflect it. Narrative criticism provides systematic tools for analysis. Both, both coherence and fidelity matter in evaluating narratives. And digital formats continue transforming how stories work. Together, these elements reveal narratives as powerful shapers of our personal, cultural, and social realities. Before we wrap up, I want to emphasize something crucial. Stories are not just how we entertain ourselves, they are how we make sense of our world, how we connect with others, and how we create change. Whether you're analyzing a presidential speech, crafting a company's vision, or sharing content on social media, understanding the rhetorical power of narratives gives you insight into one of humanity's most fundamental tools for connection and persuasion. From ancient myths passed down through generations to the latest viral story on social media, narratives continue to shape our understanding of reality and guide our actions. By mastering narrative criticism, you gain not just an analytical framework, but a deeper appreciation for how stories move people and transform societies. Thank you for your attention to this fundamental framework. I trust you'll never look at a story quite the same way again.